Once you're all done with the permanent marker work, then it's time to bust out some watercolors. And you can use any color in your tray because you see all of these colors used on St. Basil's. Just remember you're working with patterns. So when you paint, the colors have to remain in a pattern. We're also going to work with intermediate colors. So you take colors that are next door and mix them and then make an intermediate. As long as you have a Prang or Crayola paint set. If you have one that is Crazy Art, they are not in color wheel order. So if I take red and orange and I mix them together, I get red-orange. So I could use that. You just put a little bit of each color in your lid, which we will clean at the end of every class. And find a spot where you want to use it. Just make sure that you are repeating your pattern. Also, this is regular paper, not watercolor paper. So if you get any large puddles of water that are standing on your page, you want to clean them up with your brush. Make sure your brush is dry and you can wipe it across like a little tiny mop, and that can get things under control when you're working. You want to use a pretty small brush for this project because you have a lot of teeny tiny details in your work. So let's mix a little more just so we understand. Here is yellow. Put it in the lid. Here is green. Mix it up. We get yellow-green, which does look a little lime. And when you are working with watercolor, it is best to kind of bounce around on your page. For example, this is wet. This is wet. I don't want to paint right next door to these shapes until they've had a chance to dry. Because if I do, they could do something called bleed, where they run into each other. So I'm going to make one bleed on purpose. That way you know how to fix it. So I'm going to paint a little blue here. Ah, there's green running into my blue. No, it's ruined. Not really. Clean your brush. Dry your brush. And as long as you get it before it soaks in, we're running across where the bleed is, and then leave it be until it has a chance to dry. And this is an example from previous years where we used to make all of the towers. And if you look carefully, you can see all of those intermediate colors. You can see the yellow-orange. You can see the yellow-green, blue-green. There's more blue-green, red-violet. They're all on there. Plus, I used some colors straight from the tray, like red, purple, yellow, etc. So use them where needed. It just gives you a little more variety and a little more option with your color.